I'm Shae Russell from mining.com.au, and I am once again coming to you from the Australian Gold Conference, currently underway in Sydney. Sitting next to me is a man after my own heart, Victorian Gold. This is Bill Reid, the Head of Exploration for North Stawell Minerals. Bill, it's a pleasure to see you again. How are you?
I've been very well, thank you. Shae, yourself?
Very good. Now, we've been catching up a lot lately, and that could be because you've got some pretty sexy looking rocks, and I do love rocks, and we're going to get to these in a moment. First and foremost, geochem and grab samples out. You had some news out to the market a couple of days ago. Can you bring me up to speed on this?
Yeah, we did. So in February, we drilled a hole at our Darlington prospect, and it hit high grade at shallow depth, so about 85 metres vertically. And that gave us pause for thought, and so we went back into some near surface techniques to follow up on that. So we did two things. We did a trial geochem line because we wanted to see it at surface, which we did. So now we've extended that program out more regionally. And at the same time, the geos got into the waste heaps, looking for the textures that we saw in that high grade hit, which was 2.3 metres at 29.2, and found some of those, sampled them, and got grades up to 300 grams per tonne out of it.
Okay, that's super impressive. Now, you touched these rocks. Now, I know Geos loves rocks, so it's time to have the show and tell portion of our conversation. So I've seen these bad boys before. Yes. These ones have got the visible gold.
Yep.
So let's start here before we move on to a couple of the others. So why are these significant for the Darlington project in Victoria?
Yeah, so it's a good question. This is quite different for the mineralisation at Stawell. It looks more like what you see in central Victoria, which is interesting because it's the same mineralising event that hits Stawell as hits central Victoria. So if we are seeing high-grade Victorian-like or central Victorian-like intercepts, it means we might see a bigger, higher-grade, more robust system. And when we look at the old data, there's an old mine above Stawell called Mariners, which historically produced about 950,000 ounces at 28 grams per tonne. So it's just, all that does is demonstrates that Stawell can generate large, high-grade systems. And so we'd like to try and find one.
Just to put this into context for everybody listening, your Stawell's in the western central part of Victoria, not central Victorian gold. So what you're suggesting is unusual about this is you weren't expecting to find this geological vent in that location.
That's right. But in hindsight, there's no reason why it can't be there. Shame on us.
All right, now you referred to this as coming out of a waste pile, am I correct?
Yeah.
This can't be waste. Tell me more about this one.
So
I know you've got water, and I know you want to put water on it.
So excuse me, Crown. Don't tell them.
Don't tell them what you're doing.
So what's here's a nice hydrothermal breccia. It's quite an unusual texture for us. You can see the clasts. They're carbonate altered. They're rimmed with silica vents. So this is a little bit different, and we see it in that drill core as well. And the historic Mariners lodes described in the old documents that it's brecciated and silicified. So this and that look like what the old Mariners lodes are described as. So it's exciting to draw that parallel, and we can then we start to explore against that model.
Now, I'm about to ask the cruel question. For a geologist, this is the question you normally throw at a banker. Obviously, from an investment point of view, what's the significance of, obviously, you talked about the Mariners lode and connecting it to the Darlington project. Why is that significant for North Stawell?
Well, North Stawell has a small resource up at Wildwood. It's it's 87,000 ounces at 2.4. So that's very similar to the grades at the Stawell gold mine. So if we ever want to have something that's appealing to Stawell as a satellite deposit, it's got to be different. And having more of a small version of the same thing isn't going to cut it. So to have identified an opportunity for a high-grade system 6 kilometres from Stawell, you can see the possible end game there. If it hangs together, it might fit into that mineralisation inventory at the mine.
Well, Bill, I think you and I have been rusted on Victorian gold bulls, hoping for some life back in the industry for probably too long. That's made sense, but it's starting to look the goods. Listen, obviously, North Stawell, we've got a busy last quarter. What can investors look forward to hear more about as we close out 2025?
Well, we're currently drilling. We've got a 3-hole program in progress. Obviously, we'll finish the holes before we announce those, but we're drilling underneath this and also targeting another nearby prospect. And so we're hopeful that those are really good to us and good to our shareholders. And we'll look forward to following them up through the rest of the year, plus the soils, plus some more work up to the north. So lots on.
Lots on. Great way to finish 2025. Also, thanks for bringing the rocks and letting me play with them. Bill, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. We'll hope to catch you soon.
Thanks, Shae.